Commander Vexthaler adjusted his mandibles in what his species considered satisfaction. 500 of the Dominion's finest warriors surrounded the human female. The math was beautifully simple: overwhelming force equals inevitable victory. Or so he thought. The human stood in the center of the massive cargo bay, hands clasped behind her back, whistling some bizarre melody. Her name was Captain Maya Torres, according to their intelligence files. Age 32. Military background. Psychological profile: dangerously unpredictable. Surrender now, primitive creature. Vexthaler's voice echoed through his suit's amplifiers. You are outnumbered 500 to 1. The human stopped whistling. Slowly, she turned to face him, and Vexthaler's confidence faltered slightly. She was smiling. Not the terrified grimace he expected, but a genuine, almost predatory grin that made his 3 hearts skip beats. 500 to 1. Torres tilted her head, as if genuinely curious. Is that all? I was hoping for at least 1,000. This almost feels unfair, for you guys. Nervous chittering rippled through the Dominion ranks. Vexthaler silenced them with a sharp gesture. Your bravado will not save you, human. We have studied your species extensively. You are weak, fragile, short-lived creatures who rely on primitive technology. Torres let out a laugh that somehow managed to sound both delighted and terrifying. Oh, you studied us? That's adorable. Tell me, Commander, it is Commander, right? Those fancy shoulder decorations aren't just for show. I am Commander Vexthaler of the 43rd Assault Division. Right, Vex. Can I call you Vex? Thanks. So tell me, Vex, in all your extensive studies. She began walking in a slow circle, hands still clasped behind her back. Did you happen to learn about human history? Vexthaler's mandibles twitched. Something about her casual demeanor was deeply unsettling. We know you are a warrior species prone to internal conflict. Conflict? Torres stopped walking and faced him again. Oh, Vex. We don't have conflicts. We have hobbies. And our favorite hobby is turning impossible odds into Tuesday afternoon entertainment. The human reached into her jacket, and immediately 400 pulse weapons trained on her. She moved with deliberate slowness, producing what appeared to be a small rectangular device. Easy there, trigger happy. It's just my phone. She held it up, showing the screen. See? I was just checking the time. You know what time it is, Vex? I fail to see the relevance. It's 2:47 p.m., Earth Standard Time. Which means... She tucked the device away and smiled wider. My shift ended 17 minutes ago. And I really hate working overtime. Lieutenant Krokvas, Vexthaler's second-in-command, leaned closer to his commander's audio pickup. Sir, her vital signs show no elevated stress indicators. Heart rate normal, breathing steady. Either she's already in shock, or what, Lieutenant? Or she knows something we don't. Torres clapped her hands together once, the sharp sound echoing through the bay. All right, boys. Let's talk strategy. You see, you've made a classic mistake. You brought numbers to a human fight. Your arrogance astounds me, Vexthaler snarled. What possible advantage could one human have against 500 Dominion warriors? Well, for starters, you're all standing in the wrong place. Before anyone could process that statement, Torres dropped to the deck. The cargo bay's lights suddenly strobed 3 times, then went out completely. Emergency lighting flickered on, casting everything in hellish red. In that moment of confusion, Vexthaler heard Torres's voice, now coming from the darkness above them. You see, Vex, while you were busy studying human psychology, you forgot to study human engineering. This isn't just a cargo bay. It's a trap. The magnetic clamps holding the floor plating disengaged simultaneously. 200 Dominion warriors on the outer perimeter found themselves tumbling through open hatches into the ship's lower levels. Their screams Dopplered away into the distance. Phase 1 complete. Torres's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Only 300 left. We're making progress. Vexthaler activated his suit's targeting systems, scanning for heat signatures. Impossible. The schematics showed solid flooring. Oh, those schematics? Yeah, I may have filed some creative renovations with the Port Authority. Human bureaucracy is wonderfully flexible when you know the right people. A series of small explosions rocked the remaining floor sections. Smoke canisters, Vexthaler realized too late. Within seconds, the cargo bay filled with thick, choking fog that jammed their sensors and obscured visibility to mere meters. Fun fact about humans, Vex. Torres's voice echoed from the ventilation system. We evolved as persistence hunters. We don't need to be faster than our prey. We just need to be smarter, more patient, and way more creative with our use of industrial equipment. Panicked pulse fire lit up the smoke like a deadly light show. Dominion soldiers fired at shadows, at sounds, at their own paranoid imaginings. The disciplined formation dissolved into chaos as squad leaders lost contact with their units. Cease fire. Vexthaler roared. You're hitting your own troops. The pulse fire stopped, leaving only the sound of heavy breathing and the low hum of the ship's systems. Then, cutting through the silence, came Torres's whistle again. That same annoying melody, now seeming to come from multiple directions at once. You know what that song is, Vex? Her voice drifted down from somewhere above. It's called The Entertainer. Scott Joplin wrote it in 1902. Humans were playing that tune before we even discovered radio. And we're still playing it today, over 300 years later. A section of ceiling paneling crashed down, striking 3 soldiers. As they scrambled clear, Torres's voice continued. That's the thing about humans, Commander. We're not the strongest, fastest, or smartest species in the galaxy. But we're the most stubborn. We just don't quit. Suddenly, the smoke began to clear, drawn away by the ventilation system Torres had apparently hijacked. Vexthaler found himself facing not 500 warriors, but barely 200, all clustered together in the center of the bay's remaining stable floor, and standing on a maintenance catwalk 20 feet above them, completely relaxed and still smiling, was Captain Maya Torres. Hi there. She waved cheerfully. Miss me? Kill her. Vexthaler screamed. .200 pulse weapons aimed upward. Torres didn't even flinch. I wouldn't do that if I were you, she said conversationally. See those big cylindrical things behind me? Those are the ship's main fuel cells. One stray shot, and we all become very small particles scattered across several star systems. The weapons lowered slightly. Oh, and Vex? Remember when I said you were standing in the wrong place? I wasn't just talking about the floor. She pointed directly above the remaining Dominion forces. Suspended from the ceiling by rapidly weakening magnetic clamps were dozens of cargo containers, each weighing several tons. You might want to move. The first clamp failed. As 500 pounds of agricultural equipment plummeted toward his troops, Commander Vexthaler finally understood why the human had been smiling. The cargo container crashed into the deck with a sound like thunder. Dominion warriors scattered in all directions, their perfect formation now nothing more than a memory. Commander Vexthaler watched in horror as his elite strike force devolved into a panicked mob. That's one down. Torres called cheerfully from her perch. Oh, look! Here comes another one. A second container broke free, this one filled with mining equipment. The crash sent shrapnel flying in every direction. Vexthaler dove behind a support beam, his pride wounded more than his carapace. This is impossible, he shouted into his communicator. Request immediate reinforcements. The human has turned the entire ship into a weapon. Torres laughed, the sound echoing through the chaos. Reinforcements? Oh, Vex, you really didn't do your homework, did you? See, while you were planning this little party, I was having a chat with your ship's AI. Our AI cannot be compromised by primitive technology. Primitive? Torres sounded genuinely offended. Vex, we invented the computer virus before we invented interstellar travel. It's like a national pastime for us. Your AI didn't just let me in, it practically rolled out the red carpet. As if on cue, the ship's intercom system crackled to life. But instead of the usual Dominion battle hymns, it began playing what sounded like ancient human music. Something with guitars and drums. "Attention Dominion forces," came Torres's voice through the speakers. "You are now listening to Welcome to the Jungle, by Guns N' Roses, circa 1987. Please enjoy this classic example of human cultural expression while you contemplate your life choices." Lieutenant Krokvos pressed himself against the bulkhead next to his commander. "Sir, our weapon systems are offline. She's locked us out of everything." "Everything?" "Life support, artificial gravity, door controls, even the food dispensers are playing that horrible music." Another cargo container plummeted down, forcing 20 soldiers to leap into what remained of the floor hatches. Their panicked screams were almost drowned out by the electric guitar solo blasting through the ship's sound system. "You know what the best part is, Vex?" Torres had somehow moved to a different catwalk without anyone seeing her. "I'm not even supposed to be here today. I was just delivering medical supplies to the frontier colonies. You guys picked the wrong cargo ship to board." Vex Thaler counted his remaining forces. Fewer than 100 now, all pressed against whatever cover they could find. His perfectly planned ambush had become a nightmare of falling debris and psychological warfare. "What do you want, human? Name your terms." Torres paused, as if seriously considering the question. "Terms? Oh, that's rich. The species that's been enslaving entire star systems wants to negotiate terms." She swung down from the catwalk using a maintenance cable, landing gracefully on a stable section of deck. "Here are my terms, Commander. You leave. All of you. Right now. We cannot simply retreat. Our honor demands, your honor." Torres's smile disappeared for the first time. "Let me tell you about honor, bug boy. 3 months ago, your honorable fleet glassed the colony on New Perth. 15,000 civilians. Families. Children." The music stopped. The silence was somehow more terrifying than the chaos had been. "My daughter was visiting her grandmother there." Vex Thaler felt his mandibles go slack. The human's voice had dropped to barely above a whisper, but it carried through the bay like a death sentence. "So when you talk to me about honor, Commander, you better understand something. I'm not just one human. I'm 15,000 humans. I'm every parent who lost a child, every child who lost a parent, every dream you turned to ash." She walked toward the huddled Dominion forces, completely unarmed, completely calm. "And right now, in this moment, we outnumber you." The final cargo container began its descent, but Torres raised her hand. The magnetic clamp stabilized, holding the massive weight directly over Vex Thaler's position. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to order your fleet to withdraw from human space. All of it. Forever. I don't have that authority." "Then you better find someone who does. Because if I don't get confirmation of a full withdrawal in the next 10 minutes, this container drops. And unlike the others, this one is full of antimatter containment units." The blood drained from Vex Thaler's face equivalent. "You're bluffing. You'd die too." Torres shrugged. "Probably. But here's the thing about humans, Vex. We're really, really good at taking people with us." She held up her phone again. Dead man's switch. My heart stops beating, the clamp releases. My stress levels spike too high, the clamp releases. I get bored and stop paying attention, the clamp releases. You're insane. No, I'm just human. There's a difference, but I can see how you'd get confused. Lieutenant Krokvos whispered urgently into his commander's ear. Vex Thaler's expression grew more horrified with each word. What is it? Torres asked pleasantly. My lieutenant informs me that our intelligence reports may have been incomplete. How so? Vex Thaler's voice cracked. There are 17 other cargo ships in this system. All human. All requesting permission to dock and offer assistance. Torres's smile returned, but now it looked absolutely predatory. Oh, that's just the local merchant fleet. Word gets around fast when someone threatens the shipping lanes. She checked her phone. 9 minutes, Vex. This is Fleet Commander Zaltharan. The ship's communicator crackled with an authoritative voice. Commander Vex Thaler, report your status immediately. Vex Thaler looked up at the container hanging over his head, then at Torres, then at his terrified troops. His mandibles clicked together in defeat. Fleet Commander, this is Vex Thaler. I recommend immediate withdrawal from human space. What? Explain yourself. Sir, we have encountered unexpected resistance. Torres mouthed the words 8 minutes and tapped her phone. Sir, the humans they're not what our intelligence suggested. We are severely outmatched. A long pause. Then, outmatched? By primitives? Sir, respectfully, they're not primitive. They're terrifying. Torres laughed and gave Vex Thaler a cheerful thumbs up. Fleet Commander, Vex Thaler continued, his voice gaining strength, I recommend we classify humans as a Tier 1 threat species and establish a permanent exclusion zone around their territories. On what grounds? Vex Thaler looked directly at Torres, who was now juggling 3 small objects that looked suspiciously like grenades. On the grounds that they're absolutely, completely, and utterly out of their minds. And they're very, very good at it. Another pause. Then, reluctantly, withdrawal order acknowledged. All ships, retreat to safe distance. Torres caught the grenades and clipped them back to her belt. They weren't grenades at all, Vex Thaler realized. They were protein bars. See, Vex? That wasn't so hard. The container slowly rose back toward the ceiling. You've just learned the most important lesson in galactic politics: never pick a fight with someone who has less to lose than you do. As the Dominion forces filed toward the exit, Vex Thaler paused beside Torres. I must ask, how many of you are there? Really? Torres grinned and held up her phone, showing him the screen. It displayed a single message: cavalry incoming. ETA 15 minutes. Try not to die. Captain Jake Morrison, Merchant Marine. Just one ship, Vex. But here's the thing about humans. She patted him on the shoulder in an almost friendly gesture. We're never really alone. We just pretend to be to make things interesting. As the last Dominion warrior disappeared through the airlock, Torres sat down on a crate and resumed whistling, The Entertainer. Commander Vex Thaler made a mental note to update the species classification files when he returned to base. Under humans, he would write, approach with extreme caution. Possibly insane. Definitely dangerous. Recommend complete avoidance. But mostly, he would remember the smile.